Hello everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about information with relation to militia logistics. For those of you that are new to the channel, I've been doing a video series on the movie Red Dawn from the mid-1980s, it's a fiction where the Soviets and the Cubans invade the United States and they're occupying half of it, and people behind enemy lines are forming militias to fight the Soviets. Okay? So I've done about something like 15 videos to date. I've put them all into a playlist, and you'll find that in the description and in the comment section, so that you can click on it and you'll be able to see all the videos I've done related to militia tactics. And in this video, we're going to be focusing on information, which is one of the three components of logistics. Right, the three components are information, security, and supplies. And I've done a detailed video on supplies. I've done a detailed video on security. So in this video, I wanted to talk about information. So it's pretty easy to see why we would need good, reliable, timely information in order to be able to, to conduct effective militia operations. Okay, now it's not just a matter of being able to plan attacks, because the actual fighting is going to be something that we're doing probably less than 1% of the time. The other 99.999% of the time, we're concerning ourselves with getting supplies for our own militia and the security of our own militia. Okay, and again, go check out those other two videos about security and supplies. But in order to to be able to provide for good security for ourselves, and also provide security for our for our supplies, and also security for our own sources of information, we need good information. So this is a really important component, and that's it's kind of easy to realize why getting good, reliable information would be important. Okay, so what I want to talk about a little now is disinformation. Okay, as part of a counter logistics operation against the Soviets, because just like we need good, reliable information that we can act upon, the Soviets also need good, reliable, timely information. So they're doing everything that they can to try and get as much information on us and other militia units. So there's really two ways to approach this. Number one, you just try to obviously not let information about what you're doing and where you are and get out, right? So to do that, we're going to try and provide good security within our own militia team, and that would also include the supply lines and the the information lines. So we want to try and provide good security, so we don't give out information that we don't want the Soviets to have. But another very effective method is to put out a lot of disinformation, because here's the thing, especially if we're operating in an area that's populated, okay, and I talked about that in the last video, that the Soviet base is most likely going to be somewhere in a populated area because they need access to resources, right? They need resources, they need people, either for voluntary labor or involuntary labor. Okay, so they're going to be in populated areas. So in order for us to conduct effective militia operations, we're going to most likely need to be close to the Soviets, right? We're going to need to observe them. Because we're going to, in many cases, we're going to be close to the Soviets, there's a good chance that we will be seen. We'll be seen by the population, okay? And hopefully we won't be seen by the Soviets, because they're probably going to act upon that immediately, right? But there's a good chance that people are going to see us. They may not know that we're part of a militia team, but they'll probably know that maybe we don't belong in that area. So we can use these people, right, to try and spread as much disinformation as possible, okay? So that when it gets back to the Soviets, ideally we want to flood them with false information, okay? And then also within our, as part of our security, right, our own internal security, if we've got, let's say, 5 or 6 sources of information, right? Let's say we got 5 or 6 people that are bringing us information. What we want to do is, we got this information coming in, but we also want to make sure that these people who are bringing us the information, because remember, most likely they're not living with us, they're not camping with us. They bring us the information and then they leave because they have to do that in order to be able to bring us continuing information. Because if they're camping with us, then they're not going to be able to see what the Soviets are doing. So they bring us information, they leave. We want to know if there's any chance that the Soviets have possibly infiltrated them, and that these people are now bringing back information to the Soviets about us. So one of the ways that one of the things that we can do, and this will work together with our security, is that we can feed our own information gatherers false information. Not all the time, but occasionally, right? And we can tell them, okay, we got 5 people. Let's say we'll tell each of them that we plan to attack a certain place at a certain day at a certain time. Okay, so we tell that to all 5 of them, and these will be completely different locations. And what we'll do is, then we'll observe those sites, right? And if we see that, at one of those sites on the day that we had told one of our people that we were going to attack it, if we see that there's Soviet activity, like early in the morning, right? They're kind of getting into position around that site. They're beefing up the security. Well, we know that informant, that person who's been bringing us information, is compromised. Okay, so we can use this information as a means of finding out informants or people who have been compromised. Okay, and the other thing is that as a militia team, right? Because a lot of times we think of ourselves as a militia team as being combatants, okay? But there's another really important thing that we can do, is that we can provide external intelligence to formal organized military. So in the movie Red Dawn, for example, only half the United States was occupied. Okay, so that means that the other half was not occupied. And as we saw in the movie, there was, although the American military was most likely weakened, right? They would have to be weakened in order for them to be pushed that far back, where they actually lose half the country. But they still had fighter jets. They still were in the fight. So one of the most effective things that we can do as a militia team is provide intelligence to that military as far as what the Soviets are doing, where they are, what the positions are, and that will probably be a lot more effective than us trying to do small scale attack operations. Okay, if we look at like modern day special forces, right? A lot of times we think that, okay, they basically go into an area, they raid it, but a lot of times these special forces units, what they're really doing is they go into an area, they basically hide themselves, right, in the landscape or in the terrain or in the buildings, and they stay really quiet, and all they do is observe and report. Okay, that's a big part of special forces operations today, in modern times. So that's another way to look at our militia teams. Basically it's an advanced observation post where we're in a position to provide information to the American military as far as where the Soviets are and what they're doing, and the good thing about that is that we are not immediately putting ourselves at risk. The Soviets don't necessarily know what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, because if we set up an attack and we attack them, the Soviets know that we are in that area. They know we are active. Okay, whereas if we're providing information to a larger military, right, and then that military is attacking, well, the Soviets don't know that it's because we, the militia team, provided that information, or maybe they were observed through some other means, or maybe they just randomly attacked. They were randomly attacked. They don't know that information. Okay, so this is also a by providing external intelligence to a larger army and letting them do the work. Number one, they're able to use bigger guns, right? So they can be a lot more effective. And we're also providing better security for ourselves. Okay? And also, of course, if we have that type of a connection, then there's a good chance that they'll also be providing us with some supplies which is good because if we're able to get supplies externally, right, from, let's say in this case, the American military, what that means is that we don't have to raid the Soviets for supplies. We don't have to interact with the with the rest of the population that is behind enemy lines, or we don't have to rely on interacting with them, which again means that there's less of a chance that we might, that we might be compromised ourselves. So there's information is a very big part of logistics, and it can be a very effective part in this type of a fight that can ultimately lead to bigger results, because there's only so much damage that a 7 or 10 man team can do with rifles, but if we can relay information to another army that has more powerful weapons, right, and tell them exactly when and where to attack, they can potentially do a lot more damage. So a couple of things for you guys to think about. Okay, again, this video was about information as part of militia logistics. If you guys have any other comments, perhaps something I haven't thought of, by all means put it in the comment section. I'd love to hear from you guys. Give the video a thumbs up. Share it. If you're not a member of the channel, subscribe so that you see future videos I put up. I'll talk to you guys soon.